welcome to the stream. Oh, hello there, weird travelers. Come, gather around our table and join us as we bend your ear and tell you another one of the many Fables of Velenia. Whoa, I almost forgot our intro. What makes this stream what it is, honestly. I'm your host and DM, Rise Garen, and I'm a hot mess. And joining me are all of my other friends here with me. Let's see if I can transition over to there. Yes, we're all here, back in action, ready to go.
You're controlling.
Yeah, so
You're like,
in case anyone hasn't even already noticed, Andrew is not, he isn't able to be with us today on the stream, and so, oh boy, your boy Rice is running the stream, and let's face it, I am...
And suddenly our appreciation for Andrew has tripled.
Yes. And, let's face it, I am third string at best. So here we are. We're barely floating along, but...
whoa.
Wow. Is there a snake in there? Or?
Is it soda?
I'm starting to wonder why one of us aren't running the stream. That makes a lot more sense.
You know what? I kind of asked myself that question halfway through the day. But what?
In hindsight?
Hindsight's 2020, y'all. And this is 2021. And with that, we're going right into our first announcement, which is thanks, Cultivate IT, for letting us destroy y'all's... Huh? Oh. I didn't... Wait, maybe... Can y'all see that? We have a Cultivate has their own mugs. So if you're feeling like you really want to support and rep Cultivate IT, go ahead and grab your mug somehow. I don't know how that would happen.
But why would they do that when they could grab a Fables of Velenia mug?
Fables of Velenia mug as well. There is also...
King of the segment.
We love Cultivate IT, but also they're our top competitors in terms of the mug market. But Cultivate IT, there is a link to their website in our About section in Twitch. Go ahead and hop on over there and click on the Contact Us button to reach out to one of their representatives and get in touch with Cultivate IT. They help out people with all of their IT-related needs, specifically networking and security. They're amazing. They're awesome. And they have a pretty swanky place that we get to borrow and kind of overrun. So thanks, Cultivate IT. You're the best.
You're the best.
You're the best. And also we want to thank everyone joining in on this Twitch stream and everyone watching on YouTube as well. Us 50 years from now, or, anyone really, as long as the servers on YouTube are still alive, so are we, right, y'all? Yeah. But yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in.
Yes.
Appreciate y'all. Say hello in the chat. Say hi. I won't be able to see it, but yeah, everyone else can, and y'all can introduce yourselves to each other. Moving on. I'm still having trouble finding the time to do my hair, which is hence why we have a cap.
Tune-up.
But most likely this week I'm going to be going to tune-up.
Mike got
I was
his
there
hair
today.
cut.
Oh!
Yeah.
And
This is episode 3.
yeah. We're back at, well, isn't time just a circle? Isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah.
I think I was waiting.
That's honestly, that's the overarching theme of the adventure is time goes by in a circle. Also, like, comment, subscribe. If you are not subscribed to us on Twitch and you're watching along, please subscribe to our channel. You'll see a notification whenever we go live, which is usually Mondays at 7:30, but we're pretty inconsistent with when we're live, so, we'll try to help you figure that out as we figure it out. But if you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe on there as well. We'd appreciate that. And if this is your first time joining us, there will be a little bit of a blurb, a recap before we get started with the campaign. And this is to help our PCs as well, because in internet time, this has been no time at all, but in real time, it's been 2 weeks, and that's a long time. But if you do want to catch up, go ahead and hop on over to YouTube after this stream and catch up on episode pilot to episode 1, and then onwards to now. Yeah. Anyone else have any other announcements before I continue making a fool of myself?
I wish I did.
You wish you
I
did.
wish I did.
Merch.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
what?
I actually have a sticker.
Oh,
Ah.
look at that Fables of Velenia sticker. Zoom
Ooh.
pan in for the. Well,
Ah.
is it pan in, Mike? Is that
It's what?
the correct terminology to pan into the camera?
No.
Okay.
Dolly in. It's Dolly.
Yeah,
Dolly in. Yeah, that slow roll. That.
we got in there.
Yeah, we got all kinds of stuff. The link is also in the About section on our Twitch.
There actually are mugs.
There actually
are
are
mugs.
mugs. There actually are mugs. If
Shout,
you,
shout it from the rooftops.
in case you really love mugs, we got them. So yeah, go ahead and reach out, do that. Buy our merch. It's so much fun and awesome. I don't know what else to say. What else needs to be said? Anyone?
Welcome.
I hope we don't die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all pretty close to death.
I like that noise.
No.
And without
We haven't
further
had that
ado, what? But John, did you usually say the same thing every time we are about to go?
Do the
What is
thing.
it? I don't even remember.
You
now.
say let's do this literally every single episode. Yeah.
Let's do this.
I was watching through all of them, and I'm like, any other announcements? There's a 5-second pause, and then John goes,
Let's do this.
see? You did it again.
Yes.
Without any kind of prompting or telling or anything.
We can just edit it out. It's fine.
Fix it in post.
Yeah.
If only. Let's recap. After a terrible event 3 days ago at the city of Rorathel, during the continent's anniversary of freedom called Zesvelden Day, our heroes have set off to find a cure for those that were afflicted in the city, including themselves. Disturbances and familiar characters were heard coming from the west. We find ourselves in a cave in Passerine's Pass, basically the Grand Canyon of the continent Eldrian, where this story takes place. Starting this chapter here in our fable, our team has passed by 8 large statues in a dark pillared hallway, descended down into a room filled with a shadowed puzzle trap, revealing a keyhole successfully picked by Orin. And now, after being shot from a gondola system high above the ground, the cavern ground, by several stone sentinels off to the left and the right, all party members find themselves on the stalagmite-ridden ground, save for Coda and Zara slowly descending down a rope about 50 feet from the stone floor. It is here that we remove our red ribbon
Yeah.
bookmark
It
and
was right.
continue our fable. With that, we're going to start with Coda and Zara that are descending down that rope. I want both of you to wait as I start the awesome music that we have.
Music.
I want both of you to roll a stealth check.
Do that.
You better be sneaky. Don't ruin our cover.
Bonnet is still clung to your shoulder, Zara.
Did you ruin it? You ruined it.
I don't know where
16 for me.
A 16 for Coda, adding that stealth modifier.
There it is. Let's hear it.
5.
5. Okay.
I said not to ruin it.
Yes.
Well, too bad. You jinxed it.
As you both are descending down the rope, first Coda and right above Coda, Zara. Both of you are sliding down that rope with the gondola system is still shaking above from the explosion that has happened, and the system still moving forward above the very far below cavern ground. Those stalactites or stalagmites jutting up out from the foggy surface of that ground. Zara's grip seems to loosen a little bit, and there's a quick zip down, and the sentinel beams beams of light that are coming from the right and also from the left. Both of them seem to kind of get closer towards y'all as you continue your descent down to the ground. Both of you are landing on the ground, but those sentinel eyes are looking for you now. With everyone else, I know that Orin, Landon, and Montley are all in a close proximity to Fox, correct? Am I mistaken in saying that?
Mhm.
With all of you close to Fox and that puff of air, the trail of that dirt air being brought up from Munins trailing through the sky on his broom and being blasted out of the sky off into the distance pretty far away from everyone, but still holding grip to that broom. Feather falling slowly to the ground and landing on the ground. Munin, you are trying to gain your bearings. You float down to the ground and you land. That singeing that burning sensation from the explosion from that beam is still on the surface of your body. But you can see that sentinel beam has moved over off into the distance, and standing up, you can see that there is a rope that is tied to that gondola system pretty far above, and you see just that rope illuminated where the spotlight of those sentinels are looking along that rope off in the distance. Landon, you are maybe about 20 feet away from Fox, and Orin and Montley, both of y'all are about 5 to 10 feet away from Fox, who is just the fall of Fox has been softened due to the mold earth forming a sort of dirt pillow to soften the blow. Let's start with Munin. What is it that you would like to do? You can see that rope is continuing to move onward away from you towards the, I guess, due north that is your directional system right now. And it is about 70 to 80 feet away, and that distance is growing.
How treacherous is the ground to navigate with all of these stalagmites?
It is not very treacherous. You can see that the stalagmites are anywhere between 3 feet to 10 feet apart. They're pretty spacious, and they have varying heights of 1 foot to even 6 or 7 feet high.
Okay. I would like to make my way toward the rope. I want to kind of stay, in line with the rope, so that if we are to reach, the end of the line wherever these gondolas are going, it's possibly still a way to get back up and gain, gain the ending of the gondola.
Okay. Sounds good. So you will be trekking behind that rope that is moving forward. Let's do Fox, Landon, Orin, and Montley. What is y'all's intended action from this point? Fox is riding themselves up on the ground, just shrugging that dust off, and those light sentinels are coming from one side and then the opposite side, and both of them are trained on a rope that is just hanging there. You can see that rope is kind of swinging with the gondola up above it, just in a sort of echoed effect of that movement of the gondola above.
I'm going to run to Fox and cast Healing Word.
Okay. You do so. Both of you see Landon run towards Fox and then go down onto a knee, and his hand starts to illuminate a sort of green radiant glow. It passes from his hand onto Fox's frame as Fox is standing up. You can see that it pulses into Fox's fur, and you can see that Fox's white fur illuminates a brilliant radiant light and then goes back into a muted white after the healing.
He gained 5 hit points, so he's
Gotcha.
up to 9. Just so you know.
Great,
Oh, good.
perfect. What is y'all's intended action? You see Landon come over and heal Fox, his wolf.
I'm gonna be following the rope, following the gondola as best I can, hiding behind like stalactites and everything.
Sounds good. I want you to roll a stealth check. All of you can see, Landon Fox and Orin, all of you can see Montley starting to go after the rope that is sort of hanging in the air. What is it that y'all want to do?
I'm follow monthly.
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll
And
stealth.
I wanna hide behind.
10 on stuff.
Gotcha. A 10 on
Same
stealth.
thing. Stealth.
Sounds good.
Oh man, awful. It's 9.
9.
Yeah.
And for Fox,
I think he only gets
17.
17. Okay.
Let's see, Fox gets 14.
Okay. All of you are trailing behind the silence of the ground. You're not able to see the actual ground itself. There is a thin layer of fog that is sort of slowly dancing along the surface that you are treading upon. There is the slight scuttle of a pebble that you accidentally kick as you are moving along this solid, physically feeling, but visually moving ground beneath your feet. Piper Coda and Zara, both of you have landed on the ground, and you can see that those sentinel beams are looking up at the rope that is swinging above, and they're currently trained on it, but it doesn't look like they have come down to look at both of you. As you get closer to the ground, you can see a figure off to your southwest that is sort of moving along at the same pace as the rope, but is sort of getting closer towards both of you as well. What is it that y'all would both like to do?
Well, we should probably kind of try to hide a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
So
Hide.
we would kind of try to hide it till anybody showed up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sounds good. Do y'all want to hide in that current position?
If we're on top, are we on top of like the stalagmite kind of thing,
Uh,
or like?
Y'all have made your way to the ground of the floor. The stalagmites
Are
rising
around us.
up around you.
Okay.
Yes.
Then we'll probably try to hide behind a stalagmite.
Okay. All right, sounds good. Go ahead and roll another stealth check for me. As each of y'all are moving at about a 15-foot per 6-second pace.
All
if
of
that
us?
gives you.
Or just them two?
Just all 4/5, including
Um,
Fox of you
Who's
guys.
bad at
Another-
stealth?
You've got the same thing.
I did.
Yeah, who's bad at stealth?
We both rolled dirty 20s.
I have
Dirty
plus
20s. Nice.
Plus 2.
Both of you can see that those lights have transfixed on
I'll
that
touch
rope that is sort
Orin
of swinging
and,
above.
give me guidance.
There doesn't seem to be any kind of other additional.
Is that like blessing?
Yeah, you got a D4. Yeah.
There isn't any sort of additional activity from both of those sentinels that are trained on you, either of you, anymore. And you all have stayed stationary as that rope continues along.
Mhm.
And those sentinels, the beams seem to look up almost as if the beam is horizontal at the level that they are on the walls, the opposing walls, and those beams just diminish out into nothing. Those that do not have dark vision are not able to see, which is Munin, and I believe Fox as well. Everyone else that does have dark vision, including Landon with your goggles, can see out in front of you, but just in that dark vision, having disadvantage on perception checks. As you continue along, both Coda and Zara, you see that there is no more activity that seems to be happening. Is there anything that y'all would like to do at this point?
No.
Just staying stationary where you are?
Like looking for
The others.
the others, but yeah, staying put.
Go ahead and roll a perception check.
Do you want our stealth checks?
Yes.
I got a 25 for Landon and a 14 for Fox.
Okay.
A perception check. I got a 16.
16?
Is it with disadvantage?
Oh, for
10.
perception checks?
4.
Well, he was saying because
Oh.
I stubbed
it's
my
so
toe, I
dark
got
that
3.
it's disadvantage. Were you talking to us or to them for perception check at disadvantage?
Just
okay.
for Coda and Zara.
And then
That
Oh!
perception check.
yeah, then that one was higher, but 16 still.
Okay.
Was my low one.
You're gonna take that.
You
Oh,
were
for
rolling
your
for
perception,
stealth.
yes.
Okay,
What
so then
was
it
your
was a 7 and not a 3.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a nice little stealth
Dang.
bonus.
That's a very nice
Yeah.
stealth bonus.
I got a 9.
A 9. Okay. Coda, you can hear off in the distance as the light diminishes, the shift in that darkness seems to have caused Motley and Munin to sort of bump into these stalagmites that are rising up out of the ground, kicking some debris that is along the surface, and there's a shuffling, a scuttling, and there's just a blast of a sort of floodlight that shortens into a beam that sort of look off in the direction of the party in front. And both of you can see that those beams have sort of trained on that sort of these stalagmites that are hanging above or that are jutting out of the ground floor. But you don't see any kind of movement or activity from this light. Y'all no longer have disadvantage on any perception checks, but those beams of light have seemed to have trained on all of you. I want each of you to, what do you want to do? You can see that those beams of light have trained on both Motley and Munin.
How fast do they shoot?
You can see that the light is starting to shift from that bright white to a yellow, and then it's shifting into a bright orange, and then to a deeper orange. It's usually from your history with these blasts, it typically takes about 6 seconds for it to fire.
Can I aim and shoot at them?
Yes. So the one that is towards your left or towards your west, as the gondolas are heading due north, towards your west, there is one that is maybe about 160 feet away.
Okay.
If your distance with Bonnie is within range, then yes, you can.
I'm gonna hide behind a stalactite.
Okay.
As best as I can.
Okay. Sounds good. And Munin.
Yeah. So yeah.
I'm also gonna hide behind a stalactite as best as I can.
Go ahead and roll another stealth check for me.
11.
21.
Whew. Okay. So in fact, Munin, you are further away. So the beam that is on the eastern side is trained on Motley. So Orin, you can see that Motley, he is being viewed by this beam, and that beam is starting to shift color right behind you. And Landon can see that leading the pack as well with Fox up ahead. Motley, you feel that beam that is starting to shift in color, and so you quickly hide behind a stalagmite that is jutting out of the ground, and that beam stays trained on that stalagmite. You quickly shift over into another stalagmite, hoping it doesn't catch your sight, and it doesn't. What's that?
Did I not get to shoot at it first?
You are shooting at the one towards the west.
Oh, so sorry. Okay, gotcha.
No, that's totally fine.
Okay.
But that it just explodes. There's just a huge shower of rocks that pelts you above and everyone else that is in front, Orin, Fox, and Landon. But there's no damage that is dealt. You can see that beam is sort of. You can see that spotlight beam that is piercing through the dust that is just still lingering in the air. Munin, the one that is on the western side is trained on you since you are on that western side. You see that beam trained on you. You go to hide behind a rock and you try the same maneuver and shift away to another stalagmite, but that beam follows you and beams. But before that happens, Landon, go ahead and roll an attack roll to see if it fires before this other beam.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I already rolled, but do you want to re-roll?
No.
Okay, so I rolled a 12, minus 5 with sharpshooter, and then plus 8, so 15.
A 15?
Yeah.
You aim up at that sentinel on that western side, and that shot cracks, and it just echoes in this huge cavern air. Shoots forward, and you can see that there is a spark of impact off in the distance on that statue creature. You can see that statue lets out a shot off towards the southwest prior to your bullet making impact on that statue, and you can see that statue, that beam sort of just kind of opens up into a flood, and then it sort of trains down towards you in your direction.
Cool.
But it's off of you. You're hidden behind that stalagmite, so you are still going to take half damage from this. So that would be 8 points of fire damage halved to 4, being behind that stalagmite that just explodes and sends you flying on the ground, and that sentinel moves away from you. Zara and Coda, both of you are still staying stationary at that position, correct? And you're seeing these beams that are shooting ahead of you that and that rope that is still attached to that gondola system is even further ahead than those 2 explosions that have hit the ground. What is it that y'all would like to do?
So the figure that was coming towards us, can we see that anymore?
The figure that was coming towards y'all, you saw that the explosion trained on that,
Okay.
and then shot at it, and that explosion sort of hit that creature.
Okay.
Towards the sort of southwest, now more like west of you guys.
Okay. We should probably move to try to intercept whatever way we think they're moving. Do you agree? Okay.
Where are they right now?
There's a group that is pretty far ahead of you. Is maybe 60, 70 feet ahead on your northeast, and there is another, I guess, figure that was towards your southwest, now west. That's whenever those 2 beams hit. Towards your west, it's maybe about 30 to 40 feet away.
Okay. We'd be trying to meet up with them.
The ones that is like 35 to 40 feet away towards west?
Yeah.
Sounds good. Y'all head off in that direction as that beam goes away, and you hear that familiar gun sound shot that happens towards the stone sentinel that is off towards the west, and that beam follows over to where that gunshot sound happened. We're continuing to move. Munin, you are pulling yourself and recovering. You can hear 2 footsteps coming towards your east. You go to look up, and you can see the familiar silhouettes of both Zara and Coda approaching you. What would each of you 3 like to do?
I want to shoot.
We have to keep going.
I can't see. I'm gonna stick with y'all.
Okay.
Just singeing feathers. Just smoke.
Do you need some bandages?
Eventually, but we should probably dash. Okay.
Oh, you're right. Let's go.
With that, all of you follow off after the rope with those 2 sentinel beams that are trained now on just a central location ahead towards, I guess, the northeast, roughly 70 feet away. And Landon, you see that the sentinel beam has now pulled up and trained on you and Fox ahead. Montley, you seem to have lost that other sentinel beam. And Orin, you seem to be caught in between both of them. Just kind of just caught between a light and a hard light. That was a bad joke. That's real bad. What would each of you like to do? Each of you 5.
I want to try to keep going.
Okay.
Try to keep pushing forward.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, if a gunshot's not gonna do anything to, I'm gonna follow and keep trying to hide.
Yeah, fireball didn't do anything to it.
And Landon, I don't think I took the damage. If you want to, go ahead and roll for the damage of that gunshot.
Do what? Oh, yes. Sorry.
No worries. That was my fault.
Not a d20. It should be a. Hold on, sorry.
One guy.
Yeah, a 1d20 plus 20. 10.
Oh,
That's what it
what?
is. Sorry.
What a weapon!
Okay, there. 8 points of damage.
8 plus.
Eight
8
points.
points. Gotcha. All right. Great. With that beam seems to be moved
Yeah.
over towards you.
I'm gonna yell for Fox to. So I'm just gonna say come by, and so that he can like go around and then like run away from me, so I can bring the
Pull
beam
the
with me.
attention of
Yeah.
that beam towards you. Great.
Yeah.
And what would you like to do? Are you just moving normally on this turn?
I mean, I'm running, and I'm gonna be firing while I do.
Okay, sounds good. You'll be able to use both of those. Your action to attack twice
Okay.
on this if you would like.
Yeah.
And
Am I still like 100 feet away?
you are now increasing the distance
Okay.
between you and it. You are now roughly 140, 150 feet, and increasing that distance between the two of you.
Okay.
And it is higher up. It is, around 70, 80 feet above the ground, and the distance between you and it is around 140, 150 feet.
Okay.
And then increasing as you are moving along. So that full attention trained on you. Go ahead and roll those 2 attack rolls.
Okay, I'm doing a sharpshooter with both, so I don't have to roll a disadvantage.
All right, and both of you are trying to just stealthily continue along as Landon is just pulling all of the attention towards him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead. Make another. No, both of you are still concealed. There's no need to roll another stealth check. Seemingly concealed as you are moving along in the shadows. What were those attack rolls for me, Landon?
Bad. A 13 and a 6.
13 and a 6. The first attack, it shoots out. You see that first shot rings out and it makes impact with that stone statue. That other attack, you tried to adjust and make another attack, and it seems to hit the wall behind it and miss. That explosion, or the beam, as the color is changing as you are moving along, you can see that it is following along with you until you make your first hit. It seems to shift the accuracy or the aim of that beam of light, and it moves off in the distance at just the right moment. It releases that explosion and it explodes in front of you. You move into just a cloud of dust that is just kind of smattered around, and you saw Fox head off in his sort of circular motion towards the northeast and seemed to have been circling around. But you missed. It missed from that explosion. You could see that the sentinel that is on the eastern side of everyone, it is much further behind, and that sentinel beam seems to go away. So the one on the west is the closest to everyone, and it is the only one that seems to be trained on Landon, as both Zara and Coda and Munin are moving as one, about 70 to 80 feet behind the initial group leading the pack, Landon drawing all of the fire. What is everyone's intended action this time? You just see that gondola system, that rope, is still continuing along. It seems to be there. You still see the bone structure that is I guess shadowed, that is silhouetted by that dim beige light behind it, and the 2 bones seem to conjoin into one bone, and that one bone is now continuing along that ceiling path, and you can see that it is continuing until it sort of stops. That bright light seems to sort of stop maybe about 250. It just seems to stop pretty close in the distance. You weren't able to see the entire distance fully before. It seemed to be shrouded in a fog far off in the distance, and now you're starting to see that it is stopping off in the distance, and it seems pretty close. If you were to meet it where you are on the ground in relation to where it is up above, you have maybe about 150 to 200 feet worth of travel along the floor in order to meet where the shoulder starts or stops. With that information, very detailed information, what would you like to do?
I guess there's no other choice but to move forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get over there as quick as possible.
Yeah.
Okay.
The way the gondola works too, do you see the returning carts, or is it just from our perspective, do we only see the gondola traveling in one direction?
You do see the occasional gondola that is starting to travel back in the opposite direction, and there are very few gondola systems that are making the return back. you can count maybe 2 that you recall seeing making the return trek back as you are following along in the gondola that each of you stood on. The rope is tied to and hanging from. That is heading towards the north. But yes, all of you continue off in that northern direction. Landon, you're the only one that has pulled the attention of, the sentinel towards the west. What do you do?
I'm going to. am I hidden behind like a stalagmite?
There are multiple stalagmites that are tall enough for you to hide behind if you would like.
Yeah. Is there a way that I could like disappear into the dust? I mean, I know that I'm not a rogue, but like, and just kind of hide behind one.
You would have to roll a stealth check to see.
I can do that.
Yeah.
Just roll in the dirt. And it'll cover you.
Do I get advantage because I'm in the dust? Okay.
Good try. Good try.
13. Great tonight.
So you go to hide behind. You're quickly moving through these stalagmites that are jutting out of the fog floor underneath you. You move in a quick fashion, sort of zigzagging through these stalagmites that are hanging above, or that are jutting out of the ground, and you shift yourself into a position behind one. That stalagmite in a position between you and that sentinel. You can see that beam continues onward where you stop. And that beam is, as it was shifting that color, that is whenever you hold your place behind a stalagmite and it loses your spot, seemingly. It seems to shift around where you just held, and that color going from that deep orange into that red lightens back up into that bright beige white. And it is searching around where you were. With that, you could see that pretty far ahead, that light doesn't seem to continue on anymore. It doesn't seem to continue to move. It is moving around in a circle. What would you two like to do? Munin and Orin. Since y'all are so close, it is that beam is circling around a spot that's maybe 20 to 25 feet ahead of you.
Gonna take a second to hide behind a stalagmite so
Sure.
it can't see me, and
Okay.
then
So Orin, you see Munin pause and hide behind a stalagmite in front of you.
Is there no way to get? There's no path around the beam of light.
There is. It's just, it is a sort of a strange stone garden of stalagmites that are haphazardly placed along this ground floor that you can move through however you would like.
Okay.
And there doesn't seem to be a clear-cut path on this cavern floor. It's just a haphazard smattering of stalagmites that are rising above that ground. And you can go wherever you'd like, and you can circumvent that moving light.
Orin, I have an idea. Hear me out. Take Felix out of my pocket.
Okay.
Felix, your time has come.
Wait. you No, this is.
I have.
No. I stop you. I stop you.
No, it's okay. I
I
can
stop
create
you.
another one.
Felix hops off of his.
I can create another one. It's okay.
You can see that Felix has kind of disappeared just into this smoke, but you still hear just the tiny, like right in front. It almost seems confused. Looking through your mental eye, you can see that there is a sort of fog that Felix is moving through, but Felix is able to see out roughly 40 feet from where Felix is, but Felix is a shorter creature, a tiny creature, and sees these large towers that are jutting out from the stone ground underneath it. But it kind of turns in the direction that you released him, and kind of turns around and looks for you because Orin was making a sort of commotion concern. So you can hear him on the ground floor. Just
We don't have to sacrifice the rat.
It's just a familiar. It's okay. I can spawn another one. He just runs in. The focus is the light. We can run by. And he's so small. Maybe it'll miss.
We need to sacrifice the rat.
Yeah. I'm gonna send Felix, and if it starts focusing the light, we're gonna run
Yeah.
through the thing, the little pathway.
Gotcha. Sounds good. At this point, with the silent conversing that is happening between Montley and Orin,
you can sort of hear that commotion that is happening off in the towards your northeast, and you follow along in that direction, moving past a large crater that has exploded and exposed a deep gash into the earthen ground. You move past it and towards these two figures that are sort of shrouded in shadow, and you both hear these footsteps coming along as y'all are reaching the conclusion of sacrificing your pet familiar, and you both turn and see Zara, Munin, and Coda approaching silently.
Good time. I was about to sacrifice my rat.
Oh, excellent.
It's a strategy.
Strategically sacrifice my rat.
We all must do our part.
Felix. So long, partner. Till like an hour from now when I can resummon you.
Felix's nose kind of juts out of the really smoggy, fog-laden floor, and you see a little paw reach up towards the sun for a salute, and then both the nose and that paw go down. You are using the mind's eye, are able to move Felix along, and Felix is sort of trying to make a loud noise to attract the attention of that sentinel beam that is sort of skirting around Landon. Landon, you could hear the grinding of stone as the sentinel beam is moving around your position, and that sentinel beam sort of moves over in the direction where you don't see anything. You just kind of hear a slight squeaking sound as if there is the hinge of a door that has not been tended to in quite some time off towards your east, and you see that beam is sort of that squeaking is happening.
Yeah, we run.
We'll get through the other side.
Do I
Okay, so
see
you're
them?
moving along. What's that?
Do I see them?
You can see them off the beam as it trains itself. The sort of excess light that is blooming off of that beam of light focused on Felix on the ground. That bloom of light, you're able to see the shifting silhouettes of your friends, Zara, Coda, Orin, Munin, and Motley, all heading towards you. And Fox is sort of looping their way back around towards you as well, and joining you. And you can see them approaching you rather quickly, but still at a softened, stealthy pace. And as that beam is sort of changing into that dark red, just right over your head, you can feel the heat move your hair and your cloth off in the direction that the beam is headed, and just your mind's eye just sees the fog of the stone floor just dissipate in a quick flash, and then just that huge beam, and then just static, no vision at all. From that familiar. As you are moving along, the coolness of the air is even cooler along the trail of tear that falls from down your cheek. Moving with your party, meeting with Landon, all of you are now as a single solid group. Fox meeting you as well, Landon. All of you are traveling along that path, and there's just a huge plume of smoke that rises in the air.
Smell like burnt
sort of
rat.
this is sort of tribute for this familiar that is used themselves for the betterment of its master. Continuing along the path forward, that beam sort of seems to look around that area, that plume of smoke that is rising above that cavern floor. And you can see a sort of a structure on the ground floor that is not just a mere stalagmite hanging above the ground. It appears to be a sort of tarp that is maybe about 60 to 70 feet towards all of your east, that you're starting to take notice of, more trained notice of, and it appears to be sort of like this really thick, hard tarp that is held up by a sort of haphazard bracing that is pushing up from the underside of it, but it is dark, and all you see is just the silhouettes of it, and you can see that they are draped and pierced onto stalagmites that are rising up above the ground, but it's about 70 or 80 feet to all of your east. As you see that that gondola system has sort of the rope that is hanging from it sort of disappears, and that rope starts to trail up away from the ground. And then you can see that rope starts to slacken and release itself back down to the ground. And that gondola system that has the rope tied to it is now circling back towards you. You can see that transition of the gondola hanging above happened traveling along the ground. You would be right above that transition in about 90 feet if you go northeast. So that structure is maybe about 20 feet from where that transition happened in the gondola above, if that makes sense. What is it? All of you are wanting to continue off in that direction, or is there anything anyone else would like to do instead?
That seems like the good direction to go.
All but.
The tub is.
Okay, sounds good. So all of you are heading off towards that northwestern section, and as you continue along, you can see that there is there's just a huge drop, and Landon sort of leading the way with Fox. Both of you sort of stop and skid and see just this sheer cliff edge that both of you kind of stop at the edge of. Rocks kind of smattered down into this dark abyss that is just falling beneath you. You sort of stop yourself, and you can see further ahead that abyss continues, and there is a sort of wall roughly 60 feet ahead, just barely within your sight of dark vision. And then all of you see Landon and Fox stop and do the same as well.
I was afraid you were going to say that like Lion King thing with the hyenas happened.
No, nothing of that
Okay.
sort.
You said there's a wall like directly opposite.
So perpendicular with the cliff's edge, about 60 feet from it, you can see a wall that seems to rise up, and it's rising up sort of, say, roughly 150 feet above is where you saw that gondola system transition and make its return in the opposite direction. It's about 150 feet up from where this, and it seemed that transition seems to happen above the open abyss that is in front of you.
This looks like a job. Ooh.
Don't be a Felix.
Felix was a martyr, okay?
Let me show.
Okay, I
So
need to look at my
you said the
birds.
gondola system is on top of this like 150 foot wall.
So
It's like a ski lift. Think like a
Yeah.
ski lift.
And-
Gondola,
and-
not
and
the boat.
Okay,
it's
that's
almost
what
as if there is a
Yeah.
sort of a balcony
Got it.
area that overhangs, that juts out from the wall that is 60 feet out from you.
I'm such an idiot. I thought this whole time you were talking about like a gondola, like the boat.
Was I using the wrong
No,
terminology?
no,
this
it's a
whole time?
gondola. He's just a space
Visually, that is
cadet.
really
Okay.
striking. to me.
Right? Yeah. That's what I thought. I was like, are we going to sticks? This is awesome.
Yeah. Just Charon with his oar.
Yeah. I mean, we are going like under. Yeah. So you know.
Just in a striped French suit. The
Thanks.
little beret.
That,
Leg mounted like Captain Morgan.
I
on
was
the-
so
on the
confused.
bow
I
of
was
the
like,
ship.
why is it 150 foot up there? Sorry. All right. Next.
Uncultured.
Water
I know.
underwater, there's not real water.
Yeah. You know what? Confusion easily understood.
Yeah. Whew, okay.
Okay. With that, what is it that each of you would like to do? Anyone? Anything that anyone would like to do?
I found my one good idea for the day, so I am done. So.
I'm gonna try to retrieve the rope, but would somebody like offer to do some distracting for the
I got
laser kit? Thank you.
Oh,
My bird.
And immediately I sprint off in the other direction and take another shot.
no,
I
wait!
hop on my broom and
Wait.
Andy and launch up to try and get the rope.
Bonnet.
Okay.
Bonnet.
We're not gonna kill Bonnet.
Bonnet can come back.
I can get
Bonnet
another
is a
bird.
familiar.
Oh, are you? I didn't realize it was familiar. Okay.
What?
Full plan 2
Okay,
is to get
go
the
for it.
rope off of
We're
the
gonna use bonnet.
gondola.
Okay.
Try to anchor
All this
the
time I
rope
didn't know.
to
Man, I don't know a lot
somewhere
of things
on,
apparently.
like,
Wait, you didn't know what?
I
where
didn't
the
know
gondola
that,
ends and
one
returns.
was,
Sure.
On the actual cliff.
I thought it was an
If I
actual
can
bird.
find somewhere. And I do have pitons in my
It's a
pack.
familiar.
So if I
Now,
have to
it makes sense. I just didn't
Attach
know.
anything to it. You can. Sweet. So you were headed up with that intention at the exact same time that Landon is pulling
No.
out Bonnie. You see that Zara just grabs onto Landon's arm and pulls it down and puts Bonnet in her hand and just sends Bonnet off. Bonnet is headed off in the same direction that sentinel is. That sentinel's beam is sort of moving to where it is horizontal with the level that it's raised above the ground. You can see that light is diminishing as Bonnet reaches height in the air. It starts making loud, large noises in the air. That beam of light floods out and vroom, trains over to Bonnet. Bonnet is sort of silhouetted in the air as an acrobat flying through as a trapeze artist, just flapping their wings. Just this tiny little bird amongst this huge floodlight that is trained on it. I want Bonnet to make a dexterity saving throw. As that light color shift is starting to change,
Come on.
Unit, you are hopping on your broom. You're heading up
Nice.
50 feet.
That
I
was
got
a
19.
A 19
Plus
for
whatever
Bonnet.
bonnets.
Yeah.
Whatever
Um,
that
Dexes.
Bonnet C, making that large blue bonnet tweets off into the sky. That color shift is changing, and you will Bonnet to move at the right moment. And as it shifts to that dark red, Bonnet feels the heat kind of pull up underneath them and just kind of lifts Bonnet in the air. Bonnet starts to flip around, sort of doing cartwheels in the air, feathers flying off of Bonnet's air, but then Bonnet kind of rights themselves, just narrowly misses that. And an explosion happens maybe about 30 feet away from where all of you are on the ground. Just another huge column of smoke rises above the air. Bonnet is now pulling the direction of that light. As you continue along, you are moving up, and you can start to see the silhouette of a platform that is hanging above in the air that is leading towards the wall that is about 60 feet above. You're continuing that ascent towards that platform above.
And I don't have time to untie nothing, so I'm going to go ahead and get my sword out and be ready. I'm just going to cut the rope from the gondola
Okay.
and be ready to,
Gotcha. All right.
Nice.
Oh, great. So
You got it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yay.
You rolled really well.
I thought
um,
he died. Yay, bonnet.
So you continue along, tracing after the gondola with that rope, and you were able to reach that gondola in time as another beam is starting to train on Bonnet and is going to let loose. Bonnet's going to roll another dexterity saving throw.
I can do that.
Oh, natural 20.
Wow!
Bonnet is
Wow,
the
that's
best.
brilliant. What is going on?
I'd like
Another huge wave of heat that you feel in your mind's eye peering through Bonnet's vision. Bonnet is starting to reach the distance, the maximum distance of your vision, as that beam
Go, bonnet, go.
whips around, curtails Bonnet in mid-flight. Bonnet seems to move off in a horizontal direction perpendicular to where you are so that it doesn't lose that distance of you being able to control the movement of Bonnet in the air. And you are able to reach that gondola platform and that rope, and you slice at that rope, and it lets free. You now have 150 foot of rope that is trailing after you as you sheath your sword. What do you want to do from here?
I want to fly to the terminus of the gondolas,
Gotcha.
wherever they're coming back from.
Gotcha.
I want to head there ASA Munin.
With that interesting phrase, you continue beelining towards that sort of destination that gondola system made off towards the due north. And Bonnet is going to make another dexterity saving throw for me.
Come on, Bonnet.
12.
12. That beam of light seems to train on Bonnet as Bonnet is now having to make not a perpendicular arcing path, but have to trail back almost towards the sentinel turret and away from it as well. And as it is moving towards it, that turret sort of trains on it, and you just see this huge explosion that happens in the middle of the air, and it sort of incorporates all of Bonnet's feature. You lose the mind's eye vision that you had through Bonnet's vision, and it sort of just plumes in a sort of explosion that arcs off of where Bonnet was in the air.
He died as he lived. Amazing.
that vision seems to train around where Bonnet was, looking in the air for any kind of other movement or sound, and you are able to reach the sort of edge of a platform that is ahead. It has the same features as the initial platform that all of you left from. It has the same the make of that hard metal with ornamentation of these handrails that kind of loop from each I guess pillar that connect the two, but it is all hard metal, even the looping between the two, the stands on each of the railings, and you see that it is just, there is no railing on the edge that is closest to you, the edge where you would assume the gondola system would move onto and then leave from. But yeah, the width of this platform seems to be about 25 feet wide from end to end, and you see that it starts at that 20 to 25 foot width and then grows. It sort of makes a parabola sort of motion off towards the distance where that wall is, and you can see off in the distance there is an opening at the end of this platform, a large opening that appears to be that 25 foot width, and the height of it is maybe about 20 feet high. But it is just an opening inside of this wall, pretty far ahead of you. Still holding onto that rope and that broom. What is it that you would like to do?
I would like to land on the platform, and I would like to attempt to get close as I can to where the platform's not extending past the wall. I mean, get closer to where the platform and the wall become in line with one another, and see if I can find a good metal pole there to tie the rope off to.
Gotcha. As you get close to that railing, seeing that railing sort of widens, the platform's edge sort of widens as you continue along closer towards that wall, that you look at the railing and then look over that railing. You are unable to get any, the only reason you're able to see out from to see any kind of features that are ahead of you is because there is a very faint glow, a very dim light coming from a fog that is happening within that open archway ahead of you, about 30 to 40 feet. Other than that, there is no additional light that is able to assist you other than just feeling along the rail. But you feel along that rail, you feel the jagged edges from the metal that sort of come to certain points in the ornamentation, and it sort of jabs at you as you're feeling along with your hand, and feel that railing sort of arc away and out as you get closer towards the wall up ahead. But yeah, you feel that there is a sturdy foundation in any part of that railing. I guess you would be on the western railing. If there is a platform shaped like this, sort of an upside down volcano, you're currently right here, and you're moving along the railing like so.
Okay. I like that.
For everyone at home. Starting at the railing right here and then moving along like so.
Wow.
So yeah, that's what you can feel as you get closer to that wall and see the very dim light coming from the opening ahead in the wall.
Okay. And now, am I aware of the pit between the wall and the ground level with the stalactites?
Yes, you were able to see that in the light that was that spotlight light that was happening from Bonnet. You were able to peer behind it and see the light from that beam illuminated sort of chasm, sort of pit right in front of the large wall that is meeting where this opening is, where the platform that you're standing on is.
And then I have 50 more feet of rope
Okay.
on me.
Okay.
It's been a while since I've done trigonometry.
Who knew?
A squared plus B squared equals C squared.
There you go.
That's all you need to know.
When are we-
Just use that.
Yeah. When are we ever going to use that? Well, Dungeons and Dragons. Sometimes.
We got angles. Thank you, Pythagoreans.
So
Bro.
my rope plus the length of the rope that I acquired that was dangling off of the platform, will that be enough to reach from the lip of the cliff to here? I'll just draw it.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so if I add my rope on, because I don't
Yes.
think the rope hanging straight down could have crossed the chasm and gotten to the stalactite plane, correct?
Correct.
Okay, then I add my rope on,
Okay.
I tie the rope off to the railing,
Okay.
and I go ahead and toss it over the edge.
Okay.
I'll fly down and deal with getting it across in a second.
Gotcha.
I want to make sure everybody gets to the edge first. So I'm going to kind of play it safe while everybody else is doing their thing, and then I'm also going to pull a feather out in honor of Bonnet and be like, a bird for a bird, or something like that. And then I pull the feather off
Yes.
Okay.
That's a classic.
With the rope. The feather
Whenever
just
he said that,
lists off towards the ground floor.
bird on
Um,
the edge.
Triggers like some sort of like
As all of this sort of inactivity in the vicinity that each of you are standing at this sheer edge and of darkness, you hear a shifting noise off towards that sort of structure that is off towards your east, now sort of southeast direction. It's a sort of a scuttling on the ground, and you hear.
Oh no!
Um,
Bees are back.
yeah, you hear that noise off in the
Bees are
distance.
back.
You wait maybe about another 5 seconds. Munin, there doesn't seem to be any kind of other activity as that sentinel is starting to kind of rest, and the light seems to diminish from the sentinel. Another 10 seconds seems to go by. Munin, there is no activity that you can see from him. I will here.
I'll have my bow drawn in that direction.
Okay, facing off in that direction. Coda, go ahead and make a perception check for me.
I'm gonna pull Clyde out.
Okay, and Landon
19.
as well. 19. Okay.
Would you say perception?
Yes.
17.
Okay. So, Coda, you hear a shifting off towards your south. You can hear that sound is maybe about 15 feet away. You look over off in that direction. With your dark vision, you can see a sort of a shifting, hunched over creature. The silhouette of this creature in that darkness, you can see that there is tufts of hair coming from where its head would be, sort of a pointed beard off of its left and right cheek, and then arching in another point with its hair on top of its head, sort of hunched over, and you can see that it is a gangly creature, and its
We run
beady
into-
eyes sort of peer back at you as well, and it is looking at you as your vision meets it. What do you want to do?
Don't make me shoot you. Be nice.
There's another 5 feet of movement as
Is
that
it still
creature
coming?
is
As they
still
say that, I
peering
shoot.
at you. Okay, you're gonna shoot at it. Okay. You pull
looks like
out
Gollum.
Clyde, and seeing what Coda is looking at, you pull out Clyde and you fire. Go ahead and roll.
It looks
Okay.
like
How far away is
I
it?
have a soft
It is
spot.
maybe about 15 feet away.
Oh yeah. Okay, I don't need to. I'm not gonna do sharpshooter.
Okay.
I'm gonna do regular. Good thing. 17.
Okay. With that creature, let me grab its AC. You hit. Go ahead and roll for damage.
Okay. Man, I rolled 3 threes, plus 3, so 12.
Okay. 12 points of damage on this creature. And you hear as that loud, crisp crack of the gunshot echoes through the air. No, I was gonna say kind of like that.
I hope not. That means it broke.
Yeah. You can see that creature's shoulder is brought back from the force of the bullet impacting its shoulder, and it hides behind the stalagmite that it was currently sort of keeping cover behind. You see that it made full impact on that creature, and the sentinel light, you can see that it floods and then illuminates, and it peers over towards your direction, sort of illuminates on you, and within that beam is both Coda and Zara as well. All of you are seemingly in that sort of beam as that beam is starting to shift and change colors.
I run away and hide.
What's that?
I run away and hide.
As that beam shifts over towards all of you, you hear a rope sort of appear from the ether above, falling down, and you hear it sort of go slack and bounce above all of you. You can see that rope swings off into the darkness towards that wall 60 feet away, and then back towards y'all on the cliffside closest to you. Both Munin and Orin, y'all are the closest to that rope as it is getting closer towards that cliff's edge. If y'all would like to do anything.
Do we grab it?
Hold my hand. My left hand and reach out. Orin.
Yeah, okay.
I'm 3 feet tall. I'm the one doing that.
But you're all armed, so it's okay.
Well, Orin reaches out as he grabs onto Munin, offering seemingly no assistance in you reaching out for that rope. Very, lackadaisically holding on your hand. You reach with all of your might towards that rope. You grab onto it as it swings into your distance. You can feel that it's sort of kind of pulling at you, and Motley can feel that it is pulling, and both of you are able to maintain your grip on that cavern edge as that rope. You can feel that it is very long and it is moving. The waves of that rope are moving above you as that light is trained on both Coda and Landon and Zara. Coda,
run
you're
away
wanting
and
to,
hide.
you're wanting to run away and hide. Go ahead and roll stealth for me. And Landon, what do you want to do?
Not one.
Oh gosh.
Oh no. Is that creature still out there somewhere?
Oh, I hate
It
you.
seems to have moved away after getting shot.
I forgot about the light. Okay.
You haven't seen
I'm
it
so
move.
upset.
You haven't seen it move out from the from behind of the stalagmite that is rising up above the ground. In the vision that you've been able to have from helping Orin as he just grabs onto you involuntarily.
I don't know. I guess I'm gonna run towards the creature that I shot and try to draw the light to me.
Okay, so it is that 10-15 feet distance. You are pulling that beam towards you as you are running off in that direction.
Mm-hmm.
This creature, this beam is sort of changing color as you're moving off in that direction. You move around and look on the other side of that stalagmite, and you see that it is gone. As that beam of light is sort of tensing on you, you look up at it and you sort of shift out of the way, and that beam of light it overcompensates and it moves in front of you. Explodes the ground right in front of you. A huge plume of dust seems to happen between you and that beam of light, as it is trained again, searching for you. It does not hit anywhere near you, Coda.
Nice. Even though I fell down.
You did trip and fall, yes, but your pride is still there because you were not hit.
I want to pull out
Yay.
dead shot and lean around and take a shot.
Okay. At the sentinel up above. Okay. With that, you're holding onto that rope, and Munin, you have slung the rope down, released the feather as an ode to Bonnet. What is it that you would like to do for the next after you release that rope down?
So I would like. Is there a sentinel that's still kind of searching, like training its eye?
Yes, you could see that sentinel has. You could hear that ring of a shot happen below you. You know something is happening, but you're not sure what. And then you see that sentinel train down on everyone below. You see that rope has now been retrieved, and you see that it is not swinging. You can see that it is making a sort of parabola effect towards the base of that cavern. So you see that it is held onto something, you're not sure what. And a huge explosion happens at the base. You see a huge flash of light. And you see the silhouette of all these stalagmites that are rising above the ground, that those shadows cast over your teammates below. And then you see that spotlight is sort of searching again through that plume of smoke that it's created.
I want to. Okay, so I'm a broom.
Okay. Yep.
I can send the broom to travel alone to a destination within 1 mile of me if I speak the command word, name the location, and I'm familiar with that place. I wish I had like bombs that I could like put on the broom and like go into the sentinel.
You should have Orin make them.
I know, this is a new, maybe the new.
You're an officer.
You're yelling at me. You should have Orin make them.
You should have
Go ahead and make an
What are
attack
you
roll
signing
for
me
your
up
dead
for?
shot for me really quick.
I'm gonna sprint into a grit point to get Deadeye shot.
Okay.
Which would be advantage, and a sharpshooter.
Okay. Munin.
Ooh.
Oh.
I want to take a torch
That sucks.
That sucks really bad.
and well, I used all my rope. Is there any way I can
Let's
just
use a dice jump.
fasten in like the? Well, no, because I can catch my broom on fire. I want to try to use the broom to distract the sentinel without me having
want
to
cursors.
Right.
Okay.
But I'm not sure just the broom flying around by itself in the dark would
It will make a beeline movement in a direction of your choice. If there are any obstacles that are in between it and the intended destination, it will move around it in the best in the the least indirect way possible.
Okay. 12 on it. And then what's the vitality of just a broom?
I don't know that there is. I don't know that there is a vitality of a broom. I mean, an animated broom, it has. We're just gonna say about 8 hit points.
Yeah. Okay.
Fire. It is. It is. What is the word that I'm looking for?
Vulnerable.
Okay.
To fire.
Oh, now I'm nervous to do this.
It has encountered a little bit of fire from the explosion that happened with you on it, about halfway through this long cavern that you've been passing through.
You know, I have a different idea.
Okay.
I want to ride the broom, and I want to try and fly to a point that is directly between 2 of the sentinels, where if they were trained on me, their beams would be pointing directly at each other.
Okay.
So crazy.
What do you say to
That's
that,
what I'm
DM?
going to try to do.
I believe in you.
You can certainly try. I don't see why not.
Crazy. It's
So
just-
you hop onto the handle of your broom, and you run off of the edge, and you let the wind take you. You pull up, and you start flying. What is it that you want to do while you're in the air?
So I'm in the air. I want to prep a torch in a little tinder box
Gotcha.
and have it ready so that when I'm at that point, which I believe to be directly between 2 of the sentinels,
Right.
I can light the torch and be like, hey,
Gotcha.
run around here.
Okay, so you're headed off in that direction, not drawing any kind of attention towards yourself. As Landon, you make that shot. What was the attack roll?
Oh, a 2 and a 4.
A 2 and a 4.
So I don't hit.
Trash.
That's with advantage though, so you do not. There's no misfire of dead shot, but the sentinel is going to make an attack towards you.
Well, do I get my second shot?
Yes. go ahead.
I can just like switch it and use Bonnie.
Yeah, you can do that.
And I'm gonna use another grit point because I need to hit this thing.
Go for it.
Oh no, I'm gonna use those because those are bad. Not much better. What was it? -5. So 12.
All right. That's you pull out Deadshot and you swoop it around, the fog sort of billowing out of the way of the direction, the swooping of that long rifled gun, and it shoots.
This was with Bonnie. Sorry.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry.
No, you're good. The initial shot of Deadshot pushes up against your shoulder. You see that it arcs off, the red hot bullet smattering up against the stone wall and sending a debris of rock off in the distance of that sentinel, but you see that it misses. You swipe that Deadshot around and shoulder it, and you pull out Bonnie, and you shoot off, and you can see that it hits the body of the creature, or that sentinel that is high up. It rolls with disadvantage, but it. What is your AC?
15.
It rolled a 17, so it shoots that huge explosion that it hits the other side of that stalagmite that sends you sprawling on the ground in the direction that that explosion was happening. You take half of the explosion damage because you're hidden behind that stalagmite, but you take 6 points of fire damage. And you are thrown to the ground. So you see that explosion happen underneath you, Munin, as you are continuing off in that direction where it should be equidistance between those two turrets. And Orin, you are still holding on for dear life to that rope, and you're holding on to Motley holding on to you. And Coda, you have hidden behind that stalagmite, but you feel as though you are free from the beam of that, and you turn around and see your friends.
Yeah.
Okay.
I go help them hold the rope because I have long arms.
Gotcha.
I kind of tug on it.
Okay.
And see if it's weight bearing.
Yeah, you do, and it seems to hold. You can feel as you tug on it, the rope almost tries to pull you off again. Feeling the fulcrum, or the momentum of the waving of that rope is trying to pull you into that chasm just because of the weight of it all. But Coda comes in, grabs it, and seems to level you.
Okay. I look around and I
Can I
raise
pat your
Zara
head?
over. I say, Zara, you first. You climb up to the top, and then I tell them that we need to hang on and keep tension on the ropes.
Yeah. Go climb.
Yeah, gotcha. So you do.
Monkey up.
Yeah, you relay all of that information over to Zara. Zara, what is it that you would like to do?
I'm gonna be a bird.
You're gonna be a bird.
I'm gonna be a bird.
Okay, what kind of a bird?
In remembrance of
Blue jay.
Blue jay. You know the form well, and you shift to that of your familiar, the familiar blue, this blue jay, or this blue bonnet, and you flit into this bird form. As you're yelling out to her, you see her form just kind of pull the dust out from the air as her form shifts into that of a bluebird, and she starts flying up towards the top, and you just kind of.
All right.
Go ahead. I'll hold it.
Oh, I start climbing. Yeah.
No other words spoken. You grab onto the rope and you start pulling yourself up.
I like it. Mom, not me first. I don't blame you.
Closer.
So you are sprawled out onto the ground, Landon Fox, pretty far out from your distance, keeping out of sight from that light. But you can see that Fox is sort of concerned looking. You can see the blue piercing eyes from Fox looking at you, trained on you, in a sort of worry, a sort of concern. As you try to pull yourself up, the smoke is sort of billowing from the blown rubble underneath your feet. What do you do?
I tell Fox to run.
Okay.
And point in the direction of them.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna take off after them as well. And try to, as much as possible, stick to the stalagmites.
Okay.
Because I'm pretty hurt.
Gotcha. So go ahead and roll a stealth check for me.
Okay.
You're Munin, you're continuing to race off in the
These dice are screwed.
the same. Yeah, the
danger
the
zone.
crosshair between both of these sentinel statues.
Yes.
Seem to be aiming for everyone. What is that stealth roll that you got, Landon?
Let me check something real quick.
Okay, no worries. You are zooming off in that distance. You are closing in on it. You feel that you have reached about halfway to where you would, to the distance you would need to be for you to be in between where you remember the other sentinel being inactive would be.
Okay.
11. So you are trying to race back towards your friends as Fox is heading off in that direction as well. Trying to stay behind the stalagmites that are on the ground. You can see that beam is still trained on your form, and your shadow is running with you along the stalagmite floor. You find a stalagmite and you hide behind it, hoping that it will continue its trajected path, and it seems to stay on where you are hidden, and it is changing that color. What is your
15.
15 with 3/4 covered? That is an additional 5, so that's going to be 20. That beam, you see that it launches forward, and it, you feel the heat blast up against your cheek, the wind of that heat billowing against your clothes and your skin. That flash of light is blinding with those goggles that are on, but you are able to narrowly miss or escape the attack of that explosion, but it is near you. And you've escaped a blast, but you can see that it still seems to be trained on you.
How far away am I from?
You're
the
about
car?
20 feet away from everyone else
Okay.
currently.
Well,
I'm gonna cast Minor Illusion behind stalagmites on the other side.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna be over here, ugly sentinel.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yes.
And do you use any kind of spell?
Minor Illusion. I can create like a sound, an object,
Gotcha.
or something like that.
And
So
you're
just it's a shot in the dark.
okay. And you're that minor illusion. You're making a sound with it.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Off in the distance, where it is in front of stalagmites that are on the ground.
Mm.
Okay.
quick question: is there any cover between them and the sentinel?
Yes.
Okay, so like they're not in danger.
Seemingly no. They are in a sparse area where there are not very tall stalagmites rising above the ground.
But climbing up is going to attract the attention of it.
Why would you say that?
You don't know.
I did. That's what I'm saying. Like I didn't. I thought that for some reason it was hidden, but I'm wrong. Okay.
Don't be
We're-
believing it.
Yeah.
We're working on it.
Yeah.
As Mina's flying, he's thinking about these things as well. Is the second sentinel, the one that's farther down? We're beyond the point of or the majority
Of
of
its
the crew.
attention.
Okay, so I'm like, this seems kind of risky, and I want to turn out and fly just straight toward the one that's been attacking everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, with its attention trained on them as sneakily as I can. I want to get up and close to it.
Okay,
I'm
sounds
gonna
good.
see how it-
You are. So you were roughly, I'd say, around 100 feet from this structure. So you are maybe about halfway to meeting it by the time the end of all of this. I guess the end of this round is occurring. Orin is continuing up that rope, arm in arm, and Zara, in her animal form, is flying up to the top. The attention of the sentinel that was trained on Landon, as Landon is trying to move away, there is a loud noise that happens towards the north, and you see that the sentinel pulls away and it is looking for something, some kind of object where that loud sound happened, and it seems to be like bouncing over that structure, that tent structure, that it seems to be trained on that little tent structure that is on the ground. Its attention seems to be pulled there, Landon, as you see Fox zoom ahead. Coda, you can see that Fox has now come to your side, and you are continuing along with Fox behind him to where you are now met up with the rest of the party.
Okay.
I'm
gonna go up.
But yeah, you see that sentinel is, trained on that structure that is out ahead, and you're heading straight for that sentinel, that stone structure.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna run forward the rest of the 20 feet, and as soon as I get there, I'm taking a health potion from
Okay.
Fox.
Gotcha.
Good job.
You go to Fox's. Fox just its paws treading on that stone floor in the fog. You reach down and undo the cork from one of the healing flasks on Fox's leather pouch and take it. It's gonna be that's a minor potion of healing. Is that correct?
I think it was just a potion. Yeah, potion of healing. Cool. You want to roll or you want?
You go for it.
Sorry. 3 plus 2, 5, 7 points of damage. Or
Healing.
7 points of
And
damage.
And I knocked myself out.
Ha! I poisoned.
Gives me a little bit more at least.
Orin continues up that rope. Munin, you are able to get within range of this sentinel that is continuing to train down on what looks to be a structure off in the distance. You can hear the grinding of stone against stone, and the light is so bright that you're barely able to see anything beyond it, any kind of form beyond this bright light that is emitting from a very wide circle. You can see that the circle is maybe 3 feet in diameter, and that light is emitting from it, from this circle, and that circle is on the surface of a stone sphere that seems to be rolling on top of a mount. That is a sort of a goblet, a sort of a cup that is holding that stone sphere in place, with that circle on the front of it, projecting that beam of light down onto where your friends are. You can see that there is a beast, almost like a serpentine beast that is holding this goblet, this cup, up. And the mouth of the beast is open. The serpentine beast is open to where its mouth is clasping onto that stone sphere that is moving around in its base.
Okay. And that is the beast stone? Is it like carved in
Yes,
okay.
it is. It is
Okay.
not moving
Okay.
itself.
Okay, I want to try. With my longbow. Okay, I want to take my longbow,
Okay.
and I want to shoot right in the center of the circular part that shoots the laser things.
Okay, sounds good.
And I want to be prepared to like fly around it in tight circle or like get behind it. You know. I
So,
feel like it's,
It is
Yeah.
this large statue. Its height, I guess the dimension of the sphere. It is about 5 to 6 feet in diameter,
okay.
and then the height of this statue is roughly 10 to 15 feet tall.
Okay. Is it in relief or is it entirely off the wall? Is it freestanding from the wall behind it? Or
No, it is inside of the wall in a sort of an alcove that is nesting it, but there is enough space behind it to where you would be able to go or retract yourself into it.
Okay. I want to try to shoot it in the eye hole
Okay.
and then fly behind it.
Okay. Go ahead. Roll an attack.
Okay.
You are currently flying right now.
So
And you don't have any kind of contraption that would hold yourself upright, so just like in the pilot, you'd be rolling with disadvantage.
Okay. Okay, so that is. Okay. So I've got a 15.
Roll a 15. That arrow, you knock it as you're trying to balance yourself on this broom. As you slow to a stop, it is a quick sudden motion as that arrow releases from your longbow and it slams into the interior of that circle stone sphere, and you could hear a boom boom as it is sort of starting to shift and shake. All of you can see a sort of strobing effect from this bright beige color to orange to yellow to red. It is sort of quickly strobing between all of those colors, and its vision, that spotlight is starting to move all over the ground in the direction that it was facing. And it seems to want to look up towards you in that direction, but its whole the sphere is sort of shaking in its cup as you are moving around in that section. It is starting to sort of follow you around to where you are positioned behind it.
Okay.
And the light is blinding. You're barely able to see anything that is around you other than this bright light that is just spotlit on you.
Okay.
With that, Orin, you are continuing to climb that rope. Orin has made it about 30 feet up that rope.
Go faster.
And Coda, you are just watching him just
I know.
3 feet of height, Orin, pulling yourself up. And, yeah, Montley, you're watching this happen as well. And yeah, Landon and Fox, you're seeing Orin just slowly climb this rope in front of you. Zara, you are now reaching the top. Or you're about 2/3 of the way from reaching the top of that, where that platform's edge is. So probably the next turn, you will have dashed or sprinted up to that platform's edge. We're moving into the next round of combat, I guess. That light is still in that strobe effect facing you, Munin, as it sort of slows back into that bright beige light, and then that yellow, and that orange, and then that red in a quick fashion.
Okay.
What are you wanting to do?
I want to try to dive at such an angle. I want to stay close enough to the statue, but dive down where if it were to fire the beam at me, it would be firing into the cup, the basin that it's sitting in.
Okay. Okay.
I want to stay close enough to the statue.
Gotcha. So you are moving just in a downward position, downwards direction. As it is going to attack, go ahead and make a Dex saving throw.
19.
Okay. It rolled a 22. So as you're moving down that explosion, all of you see that light has sort of disappeared, and you are seeing the silhouette of this sort of stone structure. And you can see a humanoid form that is in the basin behind the silhouette of this structure that is just, the light is blasting it, illuminating the structure. And you can see that bright beige light is shifting from that yellow-orange to that deep red. And then a huge explosion happens, and you see that flash of that explosion, and then you see just the echoes of that light, the flame that is just emitting from that alcove in the wall, and you hear a sort of a grinding moan, a grinding stone sound that happens from that direction. And you can hear a sort of a grinding of stone on stone, elongated, as it's the sound of a stone ball rolling down the edge of another stone wall. I'm gonna roll damage.
Okay.
So you took 8 points of fire damage. Your broom. It also, wait, that was 8 points of fire damage?
8 for moi.
So, with the dexterity saving throw of 19, you're able to drop low and move that broom out of the way.
Okay.
It takes the wisping of fire damage on its tail,
Okay.
taking that 2 points of fire damage as you see that from that explosion it is jettisoned out of that alcove.
Okay.
But that is the breadth of damage that is done to that broom. But you can see that stone eye has loosened itself off, and you can see that it is just barreling downwards off of this alcove that you are currently nested in. No pun intended.
Bird pun.
And with that crazy action, we're going to take a quick bathroom break for those that are watching. Yeah, we're gonna take that quick break. If y'all wouldn't mind us going to use the restroom really quick, we'd appreciate it. And while you're waiting around, go ahead and follow us on Twitch if you haven't subscribed already. We'd appreciate that. And we will be back here in just a moment. Thank you. Oh my gosh, and we're back. I realized that entire time that everyone was labeled as their human first names, their like actual first names, and not the character first names. So I could understand.
Rude.
It was very confusing for everyone at home watching, and I apologize just spouting off these names like y'all know who we're talking about. I corrected it. We're back on track. Figuring this thing out. Again, third stream. Right here. Third stream. Moving on. Munin, you feel the heat still singeing off of your feathers on your skin, and that your, I guess, broom just exploded out from the edge of that cliff. You can see that the singed, I guess, head, the singed bristles on the back of it just flipping through the air, smoke trailing behind it. What do you do?
So have I fallen to a place where I'm grounded, or am I?
Yeah, you're sort of in a divot. It's the base crevice section of this statue nestled in this alcove. So there is enough room for you to move out from behind that statue that is in an alcove on this just, I guess, ground floor. There's maybe about a foot of width, or a foot to 2 feet of width in this nestled alcove in this cave wall.
Okay. I want to remain standing there and then use. Does the broom thing work in reverse, where I can send it out somewhere? Can I recall it?
Yeah.
Is that okay? So I want to hang there. I want to
assume so.
Let's see. I figure if it's within a certain range. You can send the broom to travel alone to a destination within a mile if you speak the word, maybe location. Yeah, but if DM allows
The
it,
broom comes
then,
back
then
to you
yeah,
and you
I
speak another
I
word.
want to like sit there and take a little breath on my little perch, no pun intended, and all bird puns intended, all bird puns always intended, unintentional or not.
Always
I want to recall the broom.
Can you intentionally, unintentional a joke?
I did.
And with that, the broom does not come back.
You know, River Street at Eureka 5, Featherfall was blown off in the explosion. You have to stay on the top.
And that broom sort of rights itself in the air and is trailing back to you. The flame on the tail of it, zooming back to you. You grab onto it, perched on that ledge. Orin, you're continuing up. Everyone's still at the base of that cavern.
I'm climbing so forward.
Zara, you are now reaching the edge of that platform and seeing with your dark vision, you're able to see further along the platform towards the wall. There is a large opening that's about 25 feet wide, 20 feet tall, and there is a sort of a fog that is emanating from it that is producing a sort of light. And you can see that there are tall structures that are that are beyond this archway. Pretty tall structures, it seems. Go ahead and roll a perception check for me as well. This is relying on your hearing.
I got a 4.
Plus
4.
What is it? Perception?
Yeah. Plus 7.
11.
Okay. With that, you are, you see that off in the distance, that fog, and you see those structures, and then you see those structures, move. You see them just shift, sort of quickly. It takes maybe about a second and a half, for them to shift and then stop. Something beyond that fog. Still in your bluebird form. Yeah, Orn, you're continuing to climb. All of you are seeing that Orn has maybe made it about 45 feet up.
You don't have to say it like that. I'm doing the best I can.
Orn is doing the best he can. All of you at the base, seeing him climb. Now we're entering into the next round. All of you see that he has extended off into the distance, out of everyone's dark vision range. Orin, he continues to climb up the rope, and he gets to a point to where you can't see him. All you can do is just feel the weight of him moving up that rope. Coda, still holding on to it at the base. What is it that each of you would like to do?
I keep holding the rope.
Keep holding the rope, okay?
Waiting for him to climb.
I have no idea. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh man, we gotta figure something else out.
I want to go in and retrieve Fox on my broom and fly Fox up to the top. If you're cool with that.
That works. Yeah. I was just gonna tie the rope to him, climb up myself, and then pull him. But yeah, that works fine for me. Yeah.
Okay. So with that, you fly back down. The little embers of fire on the back of your broom blowing out through the air. You trail back down towards what you remember is where they were in this darkness.
Oh yeah.
It is dark, so all you have is just your sound, your sense of hearing, and a mental picture of where everything was when there was light.
Hey.
That's all I have.
Hey guys. Hey, can y'all hear me? Hello?
You can hear
I'm
it
trying
off
to do
in the
kind
distance.
of like a sort of quiet to not draw, but at the same time like loud enough.
Okay.
Hello.
Hey, we're down here.
You could hear, roughly about 100 feet in the air toward your south, this familiar voice in the air. And Motley calls after, and you can hear him off in that direction. So you start heading off in that direction. You feel a figure sort of appear on the back of your broom, Motley. And you feel something wrap around your throat.
That's the worst thing that's ever happened, and I'm terrified. Okay.
What? Can we not have a break?
I want to attempt to fall off my broom,
Okay.
while allowing it to, do its
Coast.
And I want to try to get this thing off of me so that I can feather fall and it can hit the ground. Or, well, I guess it had to be something that flies if it.
Quickly. 5.
I'd rather
4,
just fall off the broom and go
3.
for it and fight it in the air than try to fight it on my broom.
Okay, so you fall off of the broom continuing to coast listlessly towards the group. That feather fall ring activates, and you, as that creature that is mounted on, sort of on your back now, is flipped around. That thing that is wrapped around your throat, they're going to attempt to hold it around your throat. And you could feel that that thing that is wrapped around your throat pull and tug. That grip is held on that thing as it is hanging above, as you are slowly feather falling towards the ground at a slightly faster rate with the weight of this creature. Now, also in conjunction with your weight, is pulling you down towards the ground. You take...
This is insane.
18 seconds.
It's like, what's next? You take... okay. take 5 points. 5 points of bludgeoning damage from this thing that is mounted on your back that is trying to pull you down. Both of you are pulling at that rate. All of you can hear this calling out. Montley, you called out in response towards Munin, and then you can see a mountless broom start to float into view, and you can hear sort of a struggling off in the distance. That noise is struggling, starting to lower towards the ground, slowly.
Guys?
Yeah.
So eerie.
With that, what is everyone's intended action? Orin, you are about halfway to
I
the
hold
top.
the rope.
Okay, you still hold on to that rope.
Are you
I'll go back and see if I can't find Orin
Okay.
or Munins.
Okay, sounds good. You are headed off towards the direction of that struggling, and you come into view about 50 feet off the ground and moving slowly. You see that same furred, humanoid-like creature that is grabbing onto either side of the neck of Munin, and it's seemingly holding onto something that is attached, or like a necklace, around Munin's throat as Munin is sort of falling down towards the ground.
How far away are they?
They are maybe about 50 feet in the air. Yeah, you see that creature just like hanging off of Munin, sort of falling down with his back towards the ground, his chest towards the roof or the ceiling above.
I guess I can only wait till they get closer.
Okay. Seeing Munin struggling against this this creature that is pulling down on you, what would you like to do?
I would like to draw my short sword and do like a stab behind me at it.
Okay, a little stabby stab behind you. Go ahead and roll. This thing has you grappled currently, so
Okay.
I need you to
Okay.
roll either a dexterity or a strength saving throw. You can decide which one you want to do.
I'll go for dex.
Sounds good. Go ahead and roll it.
That's a 10.
Plus,
Oh, with the
10 straight?
Yeah, 10.
Gotcha. It rolled a 12. So it seems to be holding onto you, and you feel your form pull into a sort of darkness, and all of a sudden your form hits the ground. You see this happen in the air. It's as if they've sort of disappeared into, like, it's almost as if a shadow is hanging in the air, and they sort of disappear behind it. Just out of thin air, you see it, and you don't believe it with your eyes. You fall and hit the ground, and looking up, you can see the ceiling of bones that are sort of strewn together and holding up a sort of a tarp, a dark, leathery surface. And you can see that there is a creature, looking over, you can see that there's a creature that is holding a wound that is on their left shoulder. And it appears to be some sort of entry wound, in that wound is sort of exiting out all over their arm. And the other creature appears to be of that furry nature of the one that you're looking at over in the corner of the room, and you can see that he is like baring its teeth and just, yeah, get him, just like slouched over, covered in that fur. There's this sort of, it's like their eyes are made of darkness, but their irises are made of this yellowish tint with and bordered with this red tint, and you can see it peering out from the darkness. As he is sort of chanting and cheering, and you could hear this noise sort of muffled off in that tent area towards your, I guess, southeast. You could hear this start to happen as soon as he disappears. What's that?
I'm gonna go towards the tent then
Okay.
and try to like lift up the tarp.
Yeah, you are able to reach the tent. You do so. You pull on that tarp, and you can see that Munin is on the ground, and he is struggling against this creature that is pulling up against Munin as well. And then another creature that is holding his arm. Yeah, and you can see that his attention is just trained on, both of their attention is trained on Munin. They don't seem to pay any kind of notice towards you. You still have your action.
just going to call out, "Hey, stop that! We're trying to get out of here. Leave us. Just go. Go. Get on."
You see both of them turn towards you, and you see the one with the shoulder wound sort of just it sort of steps back into the shadow and just disappears. The one with the shoulder wound. The other one is still sort of garroting Munin that is on the ground, and both of them are struggling. Munin, I want you to go ahead and make another saving throw with Montley pulling that attention away from him. Dex or strength.
How about a 14 dex?
Roll a 17 strength. Holding onto that grip. That grip seems to hold fast as you call out to those creatures, Montley. And everyone can hear that Montley is calling out, traveling over to that tent shape, and calls out to something within that tent. Is it?
Hold the rope.
Okay. Solid.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, where is the? Did you say where the light was at right now?
The
Sentinel. Where the light was at? The Sentinel.
the Sentinels, that light is gone. As soon as that last explosion happened,
Oh, okay, sorry.
there's just that flash of light, and then that Sentinel's head.
Mhm.
The sound of it, you could hear it rolling down the stone wall
Okay.
that it rests on.
Yeah. So I guess we're still waiting to go up.
Okay, sounds good. Moving on to the next round of combat. Go ahead and make a saving throw to see if you break free from this guy.
I'm also going to cast Tasha's Hideous Laughter. I'm going to take a little piece of feather and
Okay.
casting Tasha's Hideous Laughter. So that's a wisdom save of 14 on the shadow creature.
Okay. So you pull out that feather and you wave it into the air. This arcane sort of smoke is sort of moving as if sound bars in the air, just moving quickly over to that creature, and you can see that it is entered into the ear of the creature that is holding Munin down, and you can it is making a saving throw, yeah?
Yeah.
Of
14.
the attribute?
What?
Or the, I guess, the, what is the strength? Is it strength or dexterity?
Wisdom.
Or wisdom, gotcha. I missed that. My bad. It rolled a 16 for wisdom save.
Good try.
But you are
I rolled a 13.
a 13. It rolled a 2 for that save. You are able to slide out from underneath it. You right yourself to where you are now standing up above the creature. That is your action. But he is prone on the ground and you are standing above him. Moving on to the next round of combat, what is it that each of you do? You see that Munin is able to wriggle free from this creature.
I'm going to grab Munin and then just try to run.
Okay.
Try to pull him and get to the rope and whatever happens.
Okay. You see that Montley is running over towards you and is reaching out for you. What do you do for your turn?
Okay, is recalling my broom a full action?
No. I'll say that's a bonus action.
Okay, then
For now.
Then I light a torch as my action,
Okay.
and recall the broom as a bonus action.
Gotcha.
And then I will agree to go with Motley.
Gotcha.
Toward the, yeah.
Montley reaching out, you start going to him as if he is not going to follow you. He surprises you and meets you halfway, and both of you continue out of that tent as he lights a torch. That torch being lit, you see that creature that was on the ground sort of fumble up, and as that light starts to reach the creature, it tries to move down into the ground, and it's not able to pass into the ground. It starts to shrivel back away from each of you as both of you are heading out of that tent wall. Orin, you could see the bottom of the platform above, and you are nearing it. You're maybe about 30 feet away from reaching the base of it. And all of you can feel that rope is not moving as much any longer. You can feel that he is reaching that height. And Zara, you see You continue to see the shifting of those structures that are in that open cavern in front of you. What is it that you would like to do? You're currently at the top edge of that balcony area.
Where are the towers?
The towers,
Structures.
there was a huge explosion, and the eye or the head of one of those towers you could hear roll off of its mount where it was, and that was the last that you saw or heard of the, I guess, sentinels that were off in the distance. But it doesn't seem to be making any kind of noise or ruckus towards anyone anymore.
And there are any monsters around?
From what you can see, all you see are large structures off in the distance moving in this fog.
Okay, question about that. Is anybody hurt?
There are a lot of people hurt.
We're all hurt.
Can I help people who are hurt?
They are down at the base of the cavern currently.
Am I not there?
No,
You
you're
are
at
at the top of the balcony that you flew up to.
Can I go back down to where they are?
Sure.
Are you gonna stay a bird?
Yeah.
Well, we're all trying to get to the top.
I'm staying up there.
Okay.
Um,
Anything that you would like to do while you are up there?
No.
Okay. Sounds good. Keeping watch from up above. Not seeing anything approaching anyone from that open way that is beyond. Both of you escape out of that tent and run towards the party. You both see Munin with that broom now coming into view. It has now reached you, and all of you are now together at the base of that rope as Orin, you reach the edge of it, and Zara, you can see in your bluebonnet form, you can see a hand just grab onto the edge of this platform and pull themselves up onto the platform edge
Who
and
is
just
you?
sort of roll over. It is Orin.
Hello!
Kind of
Somehow.
panting for breath, and finally made it up to the top end. You feel as though there isn't any sort of movement on that rope anymore, but that's all you have so far.
Okay. Are the other creatures running in? Can I see them running towards us?
You don't see any creatures running
Okay.
towards y'all from the direction that Munin and Motley came.
Okay.
I cast a cantrip message and Dakota. So yeah, I made it to the top.
Okay. Motley, go.
Should we not take the broom? I mean, I'd rather fly.
Well, yeah, not all of us can. So, but you're smaller, so it requires less strength to climb. So
Trust me, it
Landon,
makes sense.
Landon should ride with Munin, and then I can climb back up.
All right, I'll climb.
Logistically, it makes sense.
Why not just take trips on the broom? I think that makes more sense than trying to
Well,
climb
yeah,
this
if he
rope
goes
over a
fast.
cavern.
Well, if we're not running away
See
from,
how long it took Orin to climb?
I think he did a great job. I think he did a great job.
I'm not denying the fact that he did an adequate job.
You hear all of this echoing from the base.
Distressingly loud.
And there's a critter coming after us, so we have to get somebody going and the broom going. So it's
stuck
two
on a
cuts.
wire whenever this thing comes out again.
It'll be
though.
fine.
Someone hop on, but hold on to a torch because I think these things have like a shadowy. they like turn into shadows and stuff.
I'm
like
right
the-
here. Take me.
Fine. Land and climb.
No.
Do you want the monsters
I
to
want
get
to
us?
fly Motley to the top and then come back for Landon in the amount of time that they're like debating who has to climb.
Do you fly that fast?
It takes it. The broom moves at half speed at the weight that the two of you combined make, but in that amount of time, you are able to successfully bring Motley up to the platform. Motley gets off, and you're able to fly back down by the time that Landon and Coda are trying to settle on who should go up the rope. You have already returned. Both all Motley,
Go on,
Orin,
yeah.
and Zara are at the top of the platform, and all of you can see that sort of open way that is off in the distance along that platform, and you can see the sort of you could now hear the faint a faint thumping noise. It seems as if there's two in contagion after each other, just happening off in that distance. and just a slight shifting breeze followed after that very dull thumping, two thumps that are happening off in the distance, and then the shifting of some structures off in that glowing fog, that dim fog.
I
Yeah.
hear a thump.
Okay.
Nice.
With that, you have returned to Fox, Zara, Fox, Coda, and Landon on the ground.
Go next, then.
Oh, I thought Fox already went up. Didn't you already take Fox up?
Yeah.
You got
No,
defeated.
I just took him off.
Oh, I thought you had said you were going to do that
That was
earlier.
my intention, but then
Oh,
I
I
got
see.
grabbed
What
by
had
the
happened?
spooky guy.
Right. Okay, I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. Yes. Yeah. So Fox next, if that's okay.
Okay, I'll take Fox. Do y'all want me to leave y'all a torch? Cause these things, I think are like shadow.
I have my own torch.
Oh, you already torched.
Then I light
okay.
it.
Okay.
Cool. Okay, then
And
I
the torch
I
at the bottom.
Fly Fox up.
Okay. You do so. Fox is sort of kind of trying to hold on as best as they can to your back. Very similar to the way it was before, except it is not backwards this time. Fox's front paws are now over your shoulders.
I use my speak to animals, but it would take up a spell slot, so just hang in there.
You just hear. You hear a lick at your just your furry cheek as you're lifting Fox up on the ground, and Fox's hind legs are still just kind of like pawing up at the bottom of your back as you're moving up in that slow fashion until you finally make it to that platform, and Fox just hops off and just kind of shakes from the nerves, and you head back down.
Tentative double.
Oh, good boy.
Yeah.
And Fox turns it as you pat its head and takes the switch as you head back down to Coda and Landon at the base.
Go on, get. No, go.
I'm just doing one.
Okay. Doing so, Landon heads up, Coda at the base, all alone.
Be safe down there.
I'm holding my torch. It's fine.
Coda, you hear a skittering off towards the south, about 40 feet away. That torch light seems to be glowing on the direction where that skittering happened, and you see a form kind of move behind a stalagmite that is raised up as you're holding onto that torch. Are you still holding onto the rope as well?
No.
Okay, you release the rope. You see that silhouette of a being that is hidden behind a stalagmite, and then you see another form that is off about 40 feet towards the south, sort of emerge in the darkness. What do you do?
Stay away.
Roll an
Just wait.
intimidation.
Stay away. I told you to stay away.
Back, I say.
I don't think I'm very intimidating. Oh, I am. 19.
19.
Oh, wow. I had a +1 to an 18. So I'm not normally intimidating.
But this time,
I'm extra grumpy.
you go.
So you-
Stay away.
I'm extra grumpy.
And you see those two figures at the sputtering of that torchlight as you push it forward with that intent of intimidation in your voice. You see those two forms shrink behind those two stalagmites that are hanging up. All you see is one beady eye from each of those figures off of the dome of their head that is still hiding behind those stalagmites. They don't seem to be moving.
Go on,
They just
get.
seem to hold a concentrated look on you. As you reach the top with Landon, you see Fox eagerly awaiting you at the edge, and you let Landon down, and Fox comes to greet you as you head back down towards Coda at the bottom. You can see that they are like brandishing their torch, and they're sputtering it towards something off towards the south, and you quickly head back down.
Can I see, like, if I look over the edge of the cliff, can I see what's happening?
Yes, the torchlight seems to be emitting. It's casting shadows along the opposing side of the light of the torch, and sort of triangle arches behind the stalagmites raising from the ground. And you can see the makings of two humanoid figures that are on the ground.
Can I shoot at him?
Yeah, if you'd like.
Okay. both my shots for Bonnie.
There's one on the left and one on the right, but you can't tell any sort of difference beyond that.
Which one's closer?
They're both equidistant
Okay.
from where you are.
I'll just look at the one on the left.
Okay.
And shoot both times.
Okay.
Ooh, one doesn't hit for sure. It's a 2 though. Does Bonnie misfire on 2?
Bonnie does misfire on a 1 Bonnie does misfire on a 2. Yes.
Dang. Okay. The other one was a 22 to hit.
So the first shot rings out from the gun and it makes impact with the creature. Go ahead and roll damage for that.
11 points.
Okay, 11 points of damage to that creature. You see that it is thrown to the ground from the impact of that bullet, and the second attack you hear a click from your gun, and then a sort of noise come from your gun, and you can see that there's smoke sort of billowing from the last shot that was in.
Yeah.
You hear it from one of the pieces of the gun. You can see that there's a sort of a singeing of smoke coming from the barrel, meaning that it misfired. And Cody, you could hear that shot, and one of those creatures is thrown to the ground as Munin is arriving on his broom.
I
Into
jump
the-
on. Hurry up.
Should we like give them a chance? Are they like living down? Do they seem bad or good, dude?
I don't know. They were kind of scared of me, but I'm very grumpy right now.
You see one of them. You see the one that was not thrown on the ground is starting to come out of the shadow and starting to run towards all of you in the
Nope, let's go.
As it is nearing towards you, you pull up on the broom and it reaches out, jumps out, and then you can see that it falls over the edge and just scrapes off into that darkness below.
Coda waves at it.
As both of you with your torchlight raise yourself up onto the platform above, slowly 30 feet per 6 seconds at a time, but you do make it to the top, and you let Coda off and you step off of the broom as well. All of you have now safely made it to the landing above, out of the depths below, the sort of forest of stalagmites and fog, and ahead of you, all of you see this sort of bridge that is opening wider, like a dress, towards the, or I guess like a vase, towards the wall that all of you saw 60 feet away, and then the opening. There's a 25-foot wide, 20-foot tall opening of this sort of dim, faint glow of fog that is happening from that room beyond. What is it that y'all would like to do?
Can we just sit here for like
Can we
30
take a
minutes?
break?
Yeah.
Collect our thoughts.
Out of the nest and into the birdcage.
Oh.
Is there any sort of imminent danger, or are we?
From what you can tell, it doesn't seem to be.
Okay.
Those that are listening intently can hear around every 2 minutes there is a low, deep goom, goom, and a rushing of some kind of wind.
Okay. I do want to pull up that rope and then like loop it and keep it.
Okay.
Yeah, don't
Is
lose
that-
the, that's good
And
Is
rope.
sound getting closer at all, or is it? Okay.
Seems to stay in its same, in the same volume.
Okay, let's take a quick nap.
Yeah. Definitely want to take a nap.
Quick rest.
All of you see a sort of gondola system that is now appearing out of the darkness, and it is moving towards where all of you are on the platform. But all of you move out of the way so that it does not scoop you up and off of the platform. A little bit closer towards the wall, but the wall with that open way is about 20 feet away.
Do we take a short rest?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna use some hit points or hit die.
Taking that short rest.
Man.
That wasn't fun.
1, 2. Oh, So go to you want to do your hit dice. So 1, 2.
What determines the amount of hit that I can take for a short
Let's go
rest?
ahead. You probably don't.
Your so you can use them all, but you can only regenerate like
Half
half
per long rest.
per long rest. So
So-
I only max out at like
So
because
now
I have
you have
we
to
have 6,
roll,
so I do like 3,
a
and then I'm
D8.
like, okay, good enough.
So, if y'all are taking a short rest, any hit die that you expend, you can expend up to 6, however many you have remaining. And then, the only way you can regain those hit die back is by taking a long rest. You regain half of those hit die back. For those of you rule lawyers out there watching.
You got 6. Do it again.
I'm almost back up to full health. Coda wraps bandages around the people who need it.
Does so successfully.
Hooray.
15 plus 9 is 24. So you gain 24 points of health. Just go up to 24.
A little over half. Should I keep rolling? Should I cast good?
Okay, I'm sorry.
Ooh, a good berry is nice.
Yeah.
Everybody likes good berry.
I think I'm gonna go ahead and do. I think I'm gonna go ahead and do good berry.
You pull out a
He's missing one.
um,
He's missing one.
I'm missing.
you pull out a oh my gosh, mistletoe out of your pack and cast that spell, moving your hands in a circular motion underneath it. You can see that those berries are forming underneath. You're able to pluck them and use them however you see fit.
Okay.
You, Oren, you've never seen anything like that before. It's
I love that.
It's astounding.
yeah.
Does anyone have any cream?
I have a skull.
Berries and cream things.
Berries and cream, berries and cream. I'm a little lad who loves berries and cream. Oh, yay. The poor mental health TikTok.
That's her mute. That's her mute.
What else?
So are we're allowed to like do stuff while we're taking a short rest, right?
Within reason, yeah.
Yeah. Because I'm starting to get kind of low on bullets. Would I be able to try to make any, or is it not long enough? Or do I need like a long rest for that?
It would need to be under a long rest that you would need to be able to craft any kind of bullets.
Okay.
Can I eat my skull?
Yeah.
As a bird
Eat your
or as yourself? No.
As a bird.
Just kidding.
As a bird, yeah, you can easily do that.
Peck at
Can
your
I
skull.
So you
Just
peck
gonna
it
eat my skull.
like a good quarter of your scone as a bird. It fills your bird belly.
Just put it in my pocket.
Nice.
In my bird pocket.
Your bird pocket.
Yeah,
Wherever that is.
yeah. Well, we won't work out the mechanics of that. It just happens.
Yeah.
And all of you do so. You recover successfully. Around 30 minutes pass.
Amazing.
Each of you feels rested and well-winded and ready to brave whatever seems to be lying beyond in the sort of archway in front. And yeah, you again around every 2 to 2.5 minutes it passes by. You hear a deep thump, thump, and a gushing, a rushing wind happen beyond. And then you occasionally see these structures very hazily silhouetted in beyond this fog that you're only able to see. These structures sort of shift and move.
I want to head towards those.
Okay.
Like as
Yeah.
just kind of as stealthily as possible, and I'll have Fox.
Cool. Both of y'all go ahead and roll stealth for me.
Should I have 10 good berries still when we
Ooh.
do a situation?
Gosh, man.
That's nice. They always stabilize people.
11.
Okay. For yourself.
Yes.
And for Fox?
He always rolls better than I do. 20.
Both of you are heading into this room. You're in a lower crouched position, hands close to your holster at the ready for your
Oh.
firearms.
Sorry, I would have said I also I meant to say earlier during the short rest, I want to fix my gun.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I meant to.
Yeah. Tinker check. Go ahead and make a check, a Tinker's Tool check. So it's just going to be adding your proficiency to your roll and dexterity
Okay.
modifier.
Okay.
I think typically is only just your proficiency for being proficient in Tinker Tools, but
Okay. Okay. 12.
okay.
You said plus dexterity plus
Proficiency.
Yeah. Okay.
You are able to see that it is a chamber that is sort of locked in one of the chambers of your gun. You are not able to completely clean it, but the barrel itself of your gun you are able to successfully clean. So you're able to fire from your gun, but one of the chambers of your gun you're not able to successfully fire from. So instead of 6 bullets ready and armed, you only have 5 until you can get that fully repaired.
Okay. Cool.
But yeah, you and Fox are stealthily heading up towards the edge of this doorway that is open in front of you, and hearing that low boom, boom happen closer towards the door, you sort of shuffle your feet, and it kind of makes a weird creaking noise of the metal platform underneath you, and Fox just hears that noise from your feet and stops. Fox's head just kind of turns and looks at you with the side eye and just kind of like glares at you like you've blown his cover. And Fox is sort of like looking ahead and just continuing to slowly paw forward as you continue behind him as well. As you get closer, you can see that there are wooden, the features, the silhouettes, the structures that were sort of shrouded in fog are now starting to solidify and form bookcases, pretty wide, about 2 feet in width, and you can see that there's just a bookcase that is standing right in the middle of this open way, about 5 feet away from that doorway, and it extends outward, and you can see that it raises pretty high, maybe around 10 feet high, 10 to 15. And then you're looking to your right and your left, you can see that there are other bookcases that are in mixed matched patterns that are seemingly perpendicular and parallel to each other in various distances as you're moving forward. And then as you start to even attempt to do something, you hear that thumping noise again. That you can see that those bookcases sort of shift. Now they make a new layout from what you just saw.
I'm digging the music for this. It's very mystery. Okay, so is there any? Can I discern any sort of pattern to the bookcases, the way that they're stacked?
No, you'd see that there is no through view through the window or through the bookcases. They don't appear to be just platforms and then a frame.
Yeah.
It looks as though there is a middle barrier that is blocking any sight through any of the bookcases. But there are no books on any of the bookcases themselves. In fact, there are many pages that are strewn about on the foggy floor that you can see very dimly. And you can see that those pages sort of pick themselves up and shift with the moving of those bookcases that seem to move like a whisper.
It's creepy.
Spoopy.
I'm gonna see if I can just follow the sound of the heartbeat. Like, see, get
Okay.
close to it.
Okay. All of you are seeing Landon and Fox move into the archway beyond. And you're seeing that fog is sort of starting to shroud his form and Fox's form as he heads out into whatever is beyond that doorway. You continue on into this passageway. You're moving left, and then you continue straight, seemingly heading towards a center point, but the bookcases are tall enough now to where all you can see is just a darkness that seems to stretch up from up above the bookcases, and you hear that, and the bookcases shift around you to now there is a new layout that is where you were heading in one general direction. A bookcase wall stops you, and now there is a different path for you to be able to follow. But you seem to continue to head towards the direction of that sound, that thumping sound. About 5 minutes have passed since all of you last saw Landon, and you've seen Landon and Fox sort of disappear behind a structure that has just appeared, blocking his silhouette within the fog.
We should follow him.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Okay.
I imagine we Scooby-Doo. Yeah.
Foxes are stupid.
If I try to stand on one of the bookcases, does it hold my weight?
You go to stand on one of the bookcases. It creaks underneath your foot, but it seems to hold as you start to climb it.
Okay.
You are able to reach the top of the bookcase, and it starts to shift. And you can see there's a sort of center in the room where a lot of the fog is seeming to displace itself, where it is sort of bright, that creamy beige brightness that is emanating like a fog off of this column of darkness. These dark waves are sort of moving in a slow pattern in this sort of core, this center area within this circle maze, circle maze of bookcases surrounding this sort of core pillar in the center of the room. You can see that the ceiling of this place raises maybe another 40 feet up in the air, until you see that blackness that is just slowly moving. Just it pulses out and then back in, and you see a jettison of that darkness move up through that core, and all of a sudden the bookcases start shifting in that shadow movement, and all of you are now within this maze of bookcases. As they start to shift, go ahead and roll a dexterity saving throw.
Okay, also, Column of Darkness, band name called it.
What's that?
Column of Darkness, band name called it.
Okay, sounds good. Good.
What was I
That's a
rolling
good
again?
one. Dex.
Dex, okay. Saving throw?
Yes.
Oh, not great. 5.
You are thrown from the top. You land on the ground 10 feet up. You take 2 points of bludgeoning damage.
Probably. Makes sense.
The books on the shelves, are there titles on the spine?
There are no books.
Oh.
You don't see any books that are on the shelves. All you see are just pages that are strewn along the floor.
Or they're
A lot of the pages that are on the floor move with the shifting of the shelves, and you can see that a lot of them are sort of disheveled and the wording on them illegible from the sort of dirt and grime that is accumulated on them, and the sort of wearing away of the ink over time. Whatever y'all's intentions.
I stand up.
Okay.
Can I look for any traps?
What's that?
Can I look for traps?
Traps? Sure, go ahead and roll a perception check for me.
21.
Okay. You don't notice any traps, but whenever you are moving along the ground, you do see that your footprints sort of pulse with every step that you make on the ground. The fog sort of emits a slight pulse of a glow with every step that you make on the ground.
That's sus.
Just gonna go on the
You
ground and
need
like
to go
wipe
fly.
my footprints off.
Okay,
Nobody will know I'm here.
you reach down and you move your hand along the ground to sort of kind of wipe away the footprints, and there is a sort of a streak of a bright light, and the smoke moves with the movement of your hands. But it's almost as if the movement of the smoke is causing it's like the bioluminescent algae on the coast of the beach.
It's a
It sort of,
diversion.
it sort of like lights up as you stir the activity of the mist, and then it releases back again.
Thank you.
All of you notice Zar sort of making that sort of shifting movement, the eliminating of the glow of the mist beneath the pretty as well.
I'm gonna start trying to make my way towards where I saw that column.
Okay, sounds good. You continue to do so. Another 2 minutes. It all shifts, and the path that you saw, sort of leading you towards that direction, it changes. You're having to backtrack. It shifts to a dead end. You're having to backtrack to another direction but you're heading in the complete opposite direction of where you want to go as you continue along, and all of you seem to do so as well.
I'm gonna wait for it to shift again.
Okay.
And then as soon as it stops, I'm gonna climb up again.
Okay.
And I'm gonna give myself guidance while I do before I do that.
Sounds good. As you wait, you see that shift of the that pulse of those two pulses and the shifting of the wind as you're standing there, and the bookcases sort of they move in a way to where they reveal more of the path that leads towards the core of the room
Okay.
as you sit.
So I have climbing gear.
Okay.
Would it be safe to assume that includes like a pick that I could put into
Into the wood itself.
to
Sure.
kind of like help hold on and like
Yeah.
try to time it out?
Yeah.
So I want to do that, and I want to try to go across the top of the bookcases and at whenever they're about to shift, or whenever I feel like they're about to shift.
Sure.
Yeah.
You head up to the top, and you can see your teammates that are in an adjoining column. As you reach the top, all of you can see him sort of mount the top of this pillar, this column, the bookcase, and you can see that he has a pickaxe in his hand, and he is
Which all of you also have, by the way, because the climbing gear we have.
that you got from Umbertown, or from the gentleman that came from Umbertown that was at the Crooked Inn. So you are heading along this bookcase, and the spacing between each of the bookcases is maybe about 5 feet in width. So you would have to clear all of these bookcases in a certain amount of time in order to be able to traverse these quickly enough.
Okay.
Go ahead and roll an athletics check for me.
Could I make it acrobatics?
No.
If I was like all fancy and parkoured it?
Do a cartwheel.
I can't roll above a 10 today, man. 6. I'm gonna fall off again.
You fall off into the sort of open space that is where all of your teammates are, and just land there. And the pulse as all of the bookshelves shift, and Fox is with all of you as well. And Fox just kind of paws over to you and just kind of nuzzles you on the ground, face down into the smoke.
I should have been a monk, man.
That was a good try, though. Not help you
Do I
up.
take any damage for that?
You take 3 points of bludgeoning damage from that.
You got the wind knocked out of you.
Am I still a bird?
What's that?
Am I still a bird?
You are still a bird, yes.
How did I swipe the ground as a bird?
With your wings and your feet.
Could I be human?
Yeah, if you would like.
I'll be human.
Okay, you are a human again, or half elf, as you shift back into that humanoid form. All of you can hear calling off into the distance, or calling out from the distance towards the center of this room. The column of smoke that is billowing off of this pillar of darkness, and it's a voice off in the distance that says, I only allowed you so far because I thought you were intelligent. This is not called the shadow shifting shelves for nothing. You can hear it echo off of the walls that are around you, but it seems to come from the core of the room. As another boom, boom, this sort of shifts. As all of you are standing there, as it shifts, you can see that those walls sort of shift and open in the direction towards those, towards the core of the room.
We still wear torches?
Yes.
Are they affecting the walls at all?
Is there anything magical inhibiting me from being able to use my broom to kind of float up and scope out what's going on?
You can try.
above the shelves. Okay, I'm gonna give it a go.
Okay.
Alright.
Maybe you can like call out directions to us.
I just want to mount the broom and I want to try to hover just maybe like 5 feet above the level of the shelves to see if I
Okay.
can make out a pattern when they change or anything.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's way more sense than me climbing up.
I do this. Wait, do I need to roll for it?
No, you do.
Okay.
Sorry. You do so successfully. You are hovering maybe about 5 feet above the ground, and you can see that core that is in the center of this room. There's a bit of a space between that core's edge and the shelves that are surrounding it in a circular pattern, and as all of your teammates are standing there, that pathway that is headed towards the core, as it pulses, the shelves don't seem to move in the path that is headed towards that core, but the shelves behind you do shift.
I just got the iron.
That's sort of what you notice. Everything else, all of the shelves seem to ripple effect from where all of you are standing. But it seems as if that one singular path that is pointed towards the core and then branches off towards another area does not shift or move whenever everyone is standing still at the base.
Okay. I relay that information to everybody.
Okay.
Okay. Do you think we need to spread out?
It's never a good idea to split the party.
Or should we go to the core?
Oh,
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Yeah.
I'll walk on the path to the kind of core.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I thought that was was that not the thing that kept shifting?
So there is a pathway to the core. As all of you are standing still, there was a distance towards the core, maybe about 20, 25 feet
Mm-hmm.
in that direction. Whenever everyone was stationary,
Yeah.
that pathway ahead, 20 to 25 feet towards the core, did not shift, but all of the walls around did.
So every time before the shift, let's just all get back to back and look for the spot that doesn't move, and then follow the spot that doesn't move.
That's smart. Let's
Yeah.
do that. Good job, Noonan.
Thanks.
You do so, moving 25 feet easily. You wait that remainder amount of time. You see that the walls, the bookcases, there's another 25 feet pathway that leads towards the core, and then other branching paths shift and move behind you. You continue to do so, moving that 25 feet towards the core. Again, another 2 minutes pass. And finally, a direct path towards that core has opened up for everyone, and there is a mist that is sort of emanating off of that core's edge and moving towards you. You can see those little tendrils of darkness that are sort of emanating from beneath, up above, on that core, from that core, that pillar of darkness, and standing in front of it, the sort of beige lights from the fog. A dim light is silhouetting a frame. It appears to be a hunched figure that is about 3 to 4 feet high, and it appears as though one shoulder is higher, raised up, and the other one is lowered, and you could see that their silhouette drops straight to the ground on either side, as if they're wearing a cloak and a hood. You hear that same familiar voice that you heard from the very beginning, that seemed to be kiting all of you along, emanate from this silhouetted figure in front of each of you. Ah, so you are smart and intelligent. Well done. Come before another beat of the heart, yes? You don't see any kind of face yet.
Can I do like an insight check on him just to kind of like see his?
Go ahead and roll insight, yeah.
What's your vibe, sir? Also, do you like scones? We brought scones.
11.
11.
I don't know.
You notice a point. You notice a point emanating from the creature's face, but it appears to be misshapen on one side,
A point?
as if shriveled.
Mhm. Like one side of his face is. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Come, shadow touched.
We don't really have any other choice, I guess.
Yep.
Let's go.
What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah.
Death.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, all of you do. You have cleared the last
As long as we
bit
know.
of shelves behind you, and you have stepped out into a sort of open area of tables that are framing the circled edge of the sort of pillar of darkness. The creature reaches up towards the hood, and all of you can now see this sort of pointed snout, and it appears to be Kenku-like, but it is shriveled on one side, and it reaches up for its hood and pulls it back and goes, "Finally, the fates have brought you." And the face of the creature looks like what I'll describe whenever we come back.
A cliffhanger.
Wow.
A cliffhanger
Rude.
for everyone that decided to stick around. Thanks everyone for joining us for tonight. What a doozy of a session. It was exhausting on our end. How about y'all? Yeah. Thanks for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed on whatever platform you're watching on, please do so. Really helps us out. And thanks for tuning in tonight. We're gonna get out of here. Thanks everyone. We love y'all. And until the next fable.